they would get gifts for her and toys for her and play with her, and the reception she received from our closest friends and family was just amazing. Like for me and for Vinod, very overwhelming, because suddenly there was a baby in the house.
Hi, good morning. My name is Vinod Venkatraman and I'm from Bangalore, born, bred here. Yeah, I did my schooling, college, went to Christ College, did my degree in journalism and English literature and psychology. Stayed pretty much in South Bangalore, been a South Bangalore boy. I still have good memories from that part of life, and work happened. Started working as a public relations consultant for one of the top PR agencies, Genesis, back in the day, and I work for Dell Technologies. I lead their ISV and sales. In between all of this, another phase of life happened. About 2009, my father came and asked me, "Are you ready for marriage?" I said, "Yes, why not?" And it started. And by the time I knew it, I got hitched, as they say. Found my companion, my partner in crime, and she happened to be in Dubai.
Hi, my name is Sandhya, and I'm born and brought up in Dubai. I've been there all my life till I got married, and my parents were there for about 40 years. So basically, one half of my life was there. And I studied there, and I then later went to India for my graduation. I did my architecture there, and came back to work. Worked there for about 2 years, and then somewhere around 2009, beginning of the year, my mother said, "Now it's time to get married," because we're two sisters. So, and being NRI parents, it was very important that they get us married off quickly, because things take time when you're living abroad.
Ours was a quick, like they say, chat mangni pat biha in Hindi. We spoke for about, I think, a week or something, and and then my brother lives in Dubai as well. Brother and sister used to live in Dubai, so they saw her, they said it was worth the trip. So I picked a ticket, took my mom, went along, and we went, saw the girl, said yes.
I think it was a done deal the moment we spoke to each other. Somewhere, like they say, a woman's gut feeling. I was very comfortable with him. There were no apprehensions, and he was very particular that I have to come back to India. I quit my job because one of the things that he said, that he did not want a working girl, and I was very comfortable with that, because I wanted to start my own little business, and I was not very keen on the corporate life or like a career, so I was very happy to do that.
November we got married, and it's been a roller coaster life, 11 years now, and absolutely fun. I was always hoping that the girl I get married to comes and gels well into the kind of life that I've always maintained, that I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I don't really think I can say that I've seen a problem or a hard phase in life. I've been surrounded by a lot of support with family, very, very strong family ties. My dad and mom have been great support in everything that we three, brother, sister and me, have done. And she came in perfectly, sitting very well in that scheme of things, where she can, like I joke around saying, she can go and make a tree her friend. If there's anything that's inanimate or just standing there, she can make friends with that kind of stuff as well. So that helped. Then we started our life, and
within the first 8 months of our marriage, I conceived. I was pregnant, and I lost a child very early in my first trimester itself, and that was quite traumatic, because we were very excited. We tried for a couple of years after that for about 2 or 3 years and it wouldn't happen. So they asked me to go in for a regular checkup, and one of the things that I had to go in for was a test to check if my tubes are okay, my fallopian tubes. And I went into a very reputed hospital, a birthing hospital, and the doctor in charge, she unfortunately or fortunately left a piece of gauze inside me. So basically when they do the procedure, they have a gauze count, and there were 3 gauze pieces and they did not check where the third one had gone. The third one was inside me, and for almost 11 days it was inside me, and I had a severe infection because I pulled it out myself. And
The trouble actually started there.
yeah, it's our problems with everything, conception, fertility, started from that problem, because I was a very healthy 24-year-old who was just trying to have children.
We were in Rajasthan and she kind of fell sick, so we cut short our holiday and came back. You can't really make out anything with the way she looked, but I think inside she was in a lot of pain. So when we brought her down back to Bangalore and said, let's go to the hospital to get it checked, they said, we'll probably need to do a scan and laparoscopy. And
Post the surgery, they told Vinod, I was in recovery, and they told him that
they said we'll have to disconnect one of the tubes. So I said, yeah, if it's infected, you need to. So that's the thing. They said no, don't worry about her, you having children. I said children is secondary. First, let's solve the problem at hand.
yeah.
So we have 2 amazing women doctors that we want to thank for bringing us to this stage in life. So the first doctor left a cause behind. The second doctor was kind enough to said that the tube needs to be disconnected, and she was thankful in a ways that she cut the tube and left the tube inside.
So she basically left the infected tube inside me. She never checked with Vinod, who was the next of kin. He was my family. Technically, she should have stepped outside the OT and asked him, do you want to save the tube, or do you want me to do something about it, because it will cause problems for her later in life, which she never told us. They said, now try fertility treatments, because that's my only hope, considering one tube is not there. IUI
No, we had
work.
no.
We did. We
Oh,
started
okay,
IUIs.
yeah, okay.
We started IUIs, and between one of the IUIs during the scan, there was this relapse where again I was in a lot of pain. Same place where the surgery had happened, exactly 6 months later. I went back to the same doctor, and she looked at my scan reports, and
She said
she looked
there's
at
a
me
cyst.
again, and she said, we need to operate you again. And I asked her, I'm 25 years old, 25, 26 years old. Why would you want to keep operating on me? This is not supposed to happen. Once you've done a surgery, you're supposed to be okay. And she said, no, let's do laparoscopic surgery again. And somewhere there was an alarm bell that said, something is not correct. I took my case files.
And thankfully, we had a recording of.
Yeah, so every surgery that happens, there's always a recording of the OT. In case there is any malpractice or anything, there is a surgery recording that happens.
So they gave us the CD, thankfully.
So I had the CDs, and my files were this big. I went to another doctor in Jainagar, another very senior doctor, and he looked at my files and he said, I need at least a weekend to...
First he said,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to accept you because you've gone to too many doctors.
Yeah,
So then she was upset. She came back. She said a doctor is not even,
yeah.
agreeing to take my case up. So typical sales guy can't take no for an answer. So I went back to him and I said, you're a doctor. I'm a patient. I went to 3-4 doctors because I don't know any better, right? And I've come to you. There are 2 things you can do. You can either go through the case and at least tell me if there is a problem or something that I should be worried about, or take up the case and take her as a patient and help us.
Yeah.
If you can't do both, it's fine. I can't put a gun on your head, but I'm going to leave it at this. But I thought I'll come and request. He said, okay, give me the file, give me about 2 days, I need to check and come back. The third day when we went, when he called us, he looked very concerned. So he says, you're basically, people have had a field day with your system, with your reproductive organs especially.
When he looked into the videos, he checked that during the laparoscopic procedure, they had not done a lot of things correctly. There was a lot of needle trauma inside, they had poked me wrongly, and because of that, there was a huge cyst that had formed again in the same place. And he would take me in for scans, and he would keep looking at the scans and saying, this should go on its own. We tried medicines, it didn't go, it kept getting larger and larger. I had several incidences of spotting, and that was brown blood, which was not healthy. He said, I think we need to do a laparoscopic surgery and see what's happening inside. This is a regular cyst, this happens sometimes. We said okay, and we set a surgery date. 2 days before the surgery, they told me, we need to do a routine blood check because we can't take you into the OT. You know, they do this HIV, everything. They have to get your paperwork ready. I went in, and the WBC count was 17,000. And the doctor looked at me and he said, I cannot even touch you with this sort of infection inside. And it didn't look like I had an infection. I was regular sitting. Then they sent me to the general physician who looked at my nails, and my nails were blue. And he said, something is seriously wrong. They said, if this does not come down, we cannot open you in the OT. Somehow they brought the WBC count down and then rescheduled my surgery. This time I let Vinod speak because I was not in the OT, but...
No, so it was he said it's going to be a 1 hour surgery, and we were pacing up and down, obviously the family. It went on for 2, 3, 4, and then it was finally an 8-hour surgery. He came out and, he shook his head, and we are so used to these movie scenes, right? So he looked down and he said, I'm sorry. And I was like, sorry, what happened? So he says, no, I'm sorry, I couldn't save the ovary. I said, okay, you save the patient, right? He looked up and he didn't know whether to smile or feel sorry for me. I said, see, I was more worried about what's happening to her. Kid is important, but it's not the be all and end all. And thankfully, family, friends, like I've said, have been great support to us.
When the woman gets blamed for all these troubles, the men sort of back out. They don't support. And sometimes even their families don't support. In my case, my in-laws, Vinod, they all kind of actually rallied behind me, stood by me in the hospital, and I have to give full credit to him for the man that he is, or for the man that he has been raised to be, that never in a moment did he ever say, I can't do this, I can't deal with this anymore. He never said, this is your problem, that you have to deal with it.
I actually got her out with nothing on her left side, no reproductive organs on the left. So came back home, she said, I have to have a child. So it was an interesting conversation that we had that evening. I said, why is it so important for you to have this, unseen, unborn, untouched, being? I have no pressure, and I think, I'd rather not worry about a child and then focus on our life. So she looked back and she said, if the problem was you, would you have accepted it as easily as you're saying? For me as a woman, being a mother is all I ever wanted. A lot of women may want a lot of things, but for me personally, I've always wanted to be a mother of children, wanted to have a house full of people and things like that. So I said, that's a great question, but that's hypothetical, right? Now I don't know if I had a problem, if I would say the same thing, so I don't know. So what is it that you want? All I want is for us to move on. I know it's difficult, but let's move on. As much as I did not want to, support her in this thing called IVF, we decided, okay, we'll give it a shot.
He was very against it because it's a lot of drugs, it's a lot of injections, it's a lot of pain. And I put my foot down and I said, nothing doing. I mean, I really want to have children. And he said, okay, let's give it one try.
And the best part was I would go into office and this whole concept of conceiving through any of these methods is not much spoken about. And I think Vicky donor was a revelation for a country like us. I would go and tell my friends in the office, it's not like watching it on the movies. They make you stand in one really horrible loo, and you've got to do what you have to do, and it's not as rosy as it seems.
Because what the IVF clinics don't tell you is the repercussions of the drugs that you put in your system, what that happens, how it plays out after say 10 years or 20 years. Because the women, we have to take the maximum amount of drugs. For the men it's just 1 cup of sperm, but for the women it's an entire continuous rounds of injecting yourself with chemicals or synthetics that are going to adversely affect you. They'll show you pictures of very happy couples holding babies, and they'll say, oh, we can promise you a lifelong of happiness. But they don't tell you that if that doesn't work out, and if these twins don't come or these babies don't come, what happens after that?
One day I'm standing there and they say, madam, just pray to God and just close your eyes and hold on, and we're going to do this.
Apologized to me.
Yeah, and she said, I'm going to hurt you, and it's going to hurt really bad. She's got 7 needles on both hands, and they go 14 injections in one shot. Cut. And I'm looking and I'm like, why would anybody in the right mind want to do this?
You can't explain to somebody why you want to become a mother, because that is a maternal feeling, that is something that is inside you, and you will go to any great lengths. Even if you have to torture yourself to become a mother, you will do it. You will climb some mountain, drink, if they say drink sheep's urine, you will get pregnant, you will do it because you want to have children, and I was ready to do that. So it's very weird. As a couple, they would call us in and say, so today we've given you the injections, today you have so many number of eggs, we are going to extract those eggs out of you, today you cannot have sex, after 4 days you have to have sex, then in the 6th day you cannot, then after the 10th day you can. It was almost like having the gynec in the bedroom with you.
We gave that IVF a chance, and
I actually conceived.
And we conceived. First shot, successful. She was carrying twins. Scans were good. Yeah. The reports were good. Said now just kind of start looking at normal life. So we just went out for a meal, came back. That night she woke me up. She said, I think there's something wrong. I rushed her to the hospital, and she was there for about 50 days, admitted there, and just that the water broke, and they were trying to revive the water. At one stage, I had a chat with the doctor, and the doctor was very nice. So she said, there are 2 things, right? If the baby's, and it's twins, so even if the baby is born, we don't know, because of the amniotic fluid being less, whether you'll have healthy babies. In the process, we don't know what can happen on the delivery table, and considering she's gone through all this, we're really careful. So and at one stage she said, you know what, Vinod, take a call. As a doctor, I can't take a call. Yeah. It's for you guys to decide where you have to go, because it's already 50 days since in the hospital.
She would come and talk to me, and I used to just tell her that nothing doing, I'm just going to take this pregnancy forward. Such a precious pregnancy, I've suffered so much to have this child, there's no way I'm terminating this pregnancy. They would wake him up in the night, he used to be sleeping there, rush me down to the scan. They'll say the baby is trying to drink the leftover amniotic fluid and urinate whatever is there, and that's all it has, and there is nothing more. So the
next day would be normal, one day would be, it's just in and out, 50 days.
50 days I was in Fortis.
And I've got, again, like I said, friends and family would come, sit down with us, talk to us. I've had, friends whose wives are pregnant, they would come and sit and laugh, and it would be like one party even in the hospital room. And we have this album that we've got where every year on our anniversary we've been in a different place. And she said, get a nice picture clicked. I want to put this year's, and on our anniversary we were in the hospital that year. She said, I want to put this also in the album. And we still have that album.
It's a very sad photo, but I was already hitting my 7th month, and I could feel the movements, and I would talk to the babies, and they would come and they would check the heartbeat, and they would say the heartbeat is good, the babies are growing, but there is no certainty that these children will come out alive, and so you have to take a call now.
And so one fine day I said, you know what, I'm going ahead with this. I don't want to risk either the kids coming into the world with deformities, nor do I want to have a wife who's already in trouble, health, mental, physical, all kinds of things that happen. I said, you know what, let's just put an end to this and we'll see what happens. She went through 15 hours of labor. The kids came out, lost the babies. Obviously, we knew that that's what we were going to see, but we didn't expect the delivery itself to be long drawn. And the doctor didn't want her to be on on another operation table because she's already been through it. Then it was like I was sitting just outside the labor room, and I was sitting on a wheelchair which was there, and my mother-in-law was next to me. We were sitting through the 15 hours, and suddenly I see they came and gave me some papers, and it looked like a Formula One pit lane. Typical movie scene. They brought something down. They gave her those. What are those things called?
The defibrillators.
Yeah, the
so I had a
defibrillators.
cardiac arrest, and my pulse had dropped very badly. I had hemorrhaged basically. My placenta had torn, so that I was just bleeding excessively, and there was no way they were able to stop it. So usually when a woman delivers, there is a certain amount of blood that you lose. But by the time the duty doctor could step in and they could let my gynaec know, the bleeding was so bad that my pulse was like 5 or 6. Yeah, it was around that place, and that was a terrible place to be. And suddenly they were jabbing adrenaline into me, and that's all I remember actually.
They took her into the OT,
yeah.
and
It's in a bad
came
shape.
out, and my mother and my mother-in-law, both of them were sitting outside. The doctor came. She said, "Come inside. You send them up." So I knew it was not a very nice thing that I was going to hear, but she said her pulse is really down. Her hemoglobin is bad. She's going to be on life support for a couple of days, and that's all we can do. We've done everything possible. Now just pray. The only thing I could do was really pray hard, and it was lonely. As much as you have all these people around you, you realize that this is one situation where you're sitting and just staring all alone. And I would just sit in the hospital by myself and have nobody to. What do you say to anyone? Nobody's going to. They can all say, okay, we understand, it's okay, don't be worried, all those kind of things. But deep inside, you're just hoping something like a miracle happens to you. She was on life support for a couple of 3 days, and then they brought her down to that step down ICU, and she started. Then there was revival, and then she was out of the hospital. The first thing I know, we brought her back home.
No, they asked me what I wanted to eat.
Yeah, from the hospital with her hands and everything bulged up. She said, "I want to have ice cream." And so the first thing we did was get out of the hospital, straight went into an ice cream parlor, and she had a big bowl of ice cream. Came back home, and
when somebody dies, people come home to give their condolence, and that's what happened to us for almost a week. People would come home with flowers and holding my hand and crying, and I was just numb because what had just happened had not hit me as yet. B, I felt very ridiculous about the situation because people were coming with like flowers and sweets. I mean, they were being nice, but they would sit and tell me, "Oh, we know what you're going through," and I would always think, "You don't know what I'm going through," because I had already started lactating and I used to have milk, and I did not have any children to give that milk to, so I used to be in the bathroom crying. So
physically she got better fast. It was okay. Mentally, obviously, it took a long time. There was a tipping point, and I think that's the only day, if you ask me, in my marriage, like most men don't remember a lot of things, but that particular day I remember I went to check out to buy a new car, and she was on the terrace of that building, standing very precariously, and I noticed her, but I didn't think anything beyond. So then when we were driving back home, she said, actually, I said, "What were you doing there? Meaning, were you looking at something?" So she says, "No, I was planning to jump off." And I said, "What's wrong with you? Why would you even think of something like that?" She said, "No, I'm not able to give you a child." I said, then I spoke to a very, very good friend of mine, this is what happened, and I don't know how to react. So he said, take a decision on what you want in life, both of you, because if this is where she's reached, you may have saved her today, you may not be there all the time, and even if she doesn't do something as drastic as jumping off a building or something, so he said, sit down and talk to her. And I've always known you for a really long time, and you've always been this happy guy. I'm slowly seeing even that happiness, that it's not there in yours, when you talk as well. You're becoming very quiet, very aloof. I said, you know what, we have to talk. And I have this funny dialogue where I say, come to the dining table. So she said, what happened?
Until that moment, we were not talking to each other. I think as a couple, we had gone into our own shell. I was dealing with my own grief. He was dealing with his own grief. I had actually stopped painting as well for a long time, because through my pregnancy, I was not supposed.
I kept telling her, I said, I'll get you some new brushes, get a new set of paints, and do something. Right?
I completely stopped painting, and my brain was blank. And at one point he realized that was happening, and I was going down this very dark hole where somehow I felt like my life was over. Like there was nothing left to look forward to.
And so I said, let's meet on the dining table. So she said, what happened? I said, now what's the deal? From here, we're going to live happy. So you tell me, what is it that is going to make you happy, and what do I need to do, and what you can do to make this life better? What's happened has happened. Now nobody can be blamed. Nobody, I can't hold anyone by their collar and say, give things back. So what do you want to do? So she said, I want a baby. And I said again, and then that's when I said, okay, so you want a baby? You're sure you want a baby? Yes. How you get it is not your problem? No. I said, perfect. Till then, I don't even think, in spite of me talking to that friend of mine, adoption had ever crossed my mind. Probably because I didn't even think on those lines. I don't know what happened to me that day. I opened my laptop right in front of her, and I was skiing, how do I adopt a baby in India? And it took me to a site called Kara, and I said, okay, we're going to apply. I said, come this side. We opened that website, and I still remember it was at about 8:30, and normally I have to eat by 8. She said, you know what, let's have dinner and then do this. I said, no, let's first do this, and then we'll figure out what it is. We started filling in the details. It looked like, any of those new Facebook or Gmail or any new, you're registering to something, it looked like that. And at one point it said, click, submit. And I just looked at her and I said, here we go. You want a baby? Here, tuck. I never even thought that, you had to wait for this to happen. I thought, you click, next day someone's going to call you, and you go, you pick up a baby, and then someone came, they did a home study report, and
they have their own procedure. They have to ensure that the person, the couple that is registered is valid, their credentials are valid, the paperwork is good. So they come and they check your home, they check the environment of the home, because a lot of human trafficking happens. So that they did their basic checks. They stamp on the paper, and then you get on to the official waiting list.
And then the final good news happened again.
Yeah.
We got Rukmini home, and life has been beautiful.
Yeah. July 23rd, 2018, she was 6 months old, and I got a photo, and it was, we have 48 hours as per the rule to press the button and reserve the baby. We had all her medical records, and we went and showed it to our pediatrician, and he gave us the green signal, and he said, you're good to go. And if there were any additional tests that we needed to conduct, he gave us a list of all those things, and we went to see her, and she was this tiny small little baby in a frock. They had dressed her up and combed her hair, and with a blanket, and they brought her to us. They made me wait in the office, and they ensured Vinod was busy with paperwork, so he wouldn't be very anxious. They kept asking him for paper after paper, and I still remember pacing up and down, and they said, "Madam Kutkoli, it's okay, don't be so excited." I said, "Baby will come." So I said, "Okay." For me and for Vinod, very overwhelming, because suddenly there was a baby in the house, and we had decorated her crib, and I did not know when she was hungry or when she was sleepy, and we had a lot of friends over that day, and they kind of helped me. Our friends came over to see her in batches. It was amazing. So the first 10 days, 15 days that she was with us, uh, they would come just to see her and play with her, and they were so amused. And she was very tiny. She's still very tiny, but they would get gifts for her and toys for her and play with her. And the reception she received from our closest friends and family was just amazing. I think it is more than what we had ever imagined we would get with a baby. And even the day we brought her home that night, our house was full of people who had just come to welcome her home. So for all the birthing stories, showers, hospital visits that I have gone to, I was very overwhelmed for the love and joy that we received when she came home. When we saw her was an exact replica of me at 6 months. And my mother looked at her and started crying, because she said, "This is made for you. Somebody else has carried this baby, but she's your baby. There's no doubt about it." Like everything, she's actually even his blood group. So it was so miraculous. It was amazing when we saw her the first time, unbelievable. And the fact that she was so affectionate already, she went to sleep in his arms. I've had people who are like PhDs, IITs ask me things like, "Oh, when you look at her, you don't think she's somebody else's child?" And I would just be like, how do I answer this question to you? No, she's not anybody else's child. Heart of hearts, she's totally and 100% mine. So you see, it's a mindset thing. It's not a educated, non-educated, backward village. If you're talking about the process of adoption, it is slightly harder, because they need to, they're
Not really.
it is a little harder for them, because that home visits have to happen. The social worker has to go in. They need an agency to sort of support them through the adoption process. But there is, like you mentioned, there is that gossiping. There is that, yeah.
I think the best way to deal with it, and
Should not tell anybody.
like I have this on my signature on my official email as well. I say, if you say the truth, you don't need to remember anything. Mark Twain said it. So I think the best thing is to be truthful, because if you try to hide something, how much will you hide? You'll keep your story is never going to be the same. So if I say, yes, she is this is my wife, this is my child, story is over. Why do we need to please the world? And one doesn't expect it to. I think it's in our mind that we think, oh, what will they say? I don't think anyone's bothered about our life. They have their problems of their own. Bangalore, I don't think there's any other city like this, to be very honest. Garden city, I think we still maintain the climate, despite all its bad press about traffic and stuff. I don't think I would want to live in any other city.
He is a Bangalore boy, born and brought up here. He has his family here, he has his friends here. So I don't think he would have been happier anywhere else. He has traveled all around the world on work, but he's just like, I think for him, this is home. This is his base. He has had many job offers to accept. and he has always asked me, would you like to go abroad? And I've heard stories of my friends over there. He has friends who are abroad. They're unhappy. Their work is good. Their salaries are good. They're able to send back a lot of money home, but they are not close to their family. They see their families like once in 3 years, 4 years. To Vinod, his family is his core.
It's a great place. It's a good blend between, the one part of Bangalore which has a lot to do with culture. One end is a lot of technology, innovation that happens here. A great place for people to start their careers, I think.
The funny part is he didn't even know that I could paint, or I was an artist. And when I finished my first canvas, he was quite shocked because the frame guy actually told him, the person who framed my painting, said someone had offered money for that painting and they wanted to buy it, and he said, no, this is her first painting in the city. So the product line includes, now today as we stand in 2020, I do custom made canvases, home decor products. I do large scaled refurbishment of antique furniture. I ship all around India and the world.
She ships around the world.
I had to come from Dubai to tell him that his Indian postal system was far better than any courier in the world. Or Speed Post is the best service in terms of sending a parcel anywhere.
She goes to the Jayanagar post office. She gets chai.
Yeah.
She's made to sit down. She has chai with those guys, and if she doesn't have change, she says, "Nale kortini," and it works.
Yeah, I have
and
a
I'm
credit
like, in a
system.
government office, you have a credit system. I'm like, it's amazing.
Like I can go and put my parcels there. He will do all the paperwork, send me a picture of the airway bill on WhatsApp, and I will Google pay the money to him. I don't think anyone has a credit system running at India Post like this. Obviously, looking at me, they would know I'm an outsider. Many of them thought I was a North Indian, so they would start talking to me in Hindi. And I used to talk to them in Kannada, and then they used to talk to me back in Hindi, and I said, but I'm talking to you in Kannada. So I used to tell them, Nam jote Kannada matadi, namge illa ನೀವು North India madam. I said, alla na North India alla ನಾವು Kerala ಅವರು. ಅಯ್ಯೋ madam ನೀವು Kerala ಅವರು. So this is how I started talking, and it helped me in my work because I started going into the interiors of like Raja Market, Avenue Road to pick up art material, canvases, and a lot of the small shops they only speak in Kannada, Chickpete and all that. So buses, autos, it was very helpful for me. So yeah, I think I have made this my home now.
And we're loving being parents. So much so that we've applied for the second one.
Yeah, we applied for the second baby. We are on the waiting list.
So I called her to the dining table once and I said, dining table. She said, now what?
Again.
So I said, second one? She said, second one what? I said, baby. She said, where? I said, come, we'll apply. So we applied for another one. So we're waiting.
I feel like
it's
important for her to have a sibling.
I wouldn't call it a noble thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I told her. I said, don't make this about a noble cause. We're not doing anything noble. We don't have a child. We're going and getting it. It's more selfish than anything else. So I don't think we should ever tell anybody.
It's not charity.
It's not charity.
Yeah.
It's not a noble thing. We have given a life. They are giving us a life. We are not giving them a life.
Yeah, she made me a mother.